Good morning. It's good to just notice differences. Notice a difference from one moment to the next, learning over time to be less judgmental of what you're experiencing in that moment and yourself for experiencing it. Yesterday was Monday, and it was my first full day in the place I feel like is home. Now, home is also where my heart is, and so my heart is also at home in Washington. Because that's where my main love resides. And I mostly reside there with her. But yesterday I went around, I spent some time with really long-term deep friends of mine, brief periods of time running into them or picking up a car from them or getting over to the house to do some energy work with another one. And today I'm going to ask for Arlen's help to actually work with me in a way I can learn from him in the physical body. Because most of the time when I'm working with, when I'm conscious about working with him, I'm in the dream world. But I want to begin to awaken in the awake world, in the non-dream, in the other dream world, or the non-dream world, or however you want to put it. I want to be present in the moment with what I'm noticing, which I am currently. And I'm not sure whether I can learn better. I think people can have a tendency to want to learn quicker and want to learn faster, want to heal faster. And I have no objection to healing, faster, learning faster. But there's something about the ability to embody what you learn. Take it into the body, have the body have the knowledge that you've gained from an experience. So many times people go, I got it, I got it, I got it. And it's all in their mind. They may have an ability to just picture something really quickly, understand what it is you're saying, get it on a mental level, and then go off as if they understand the experience you're describing. So today, we're going to be working with emotion. And for some people, that may just bring a feeling of dread or anticipation or concern or fear. Because when you're dealing with emotion, unless you're dealing with it in a way in which you've been triggered, now you have all this emotion come to the forefront, and it can be fear, anger, grief, all mixed together, and then you act out of that. You say things out of that. You're cruel in a way, in a defensiveness to yourself. You're just backing people away. Sometimes the point you back them away for good. They're just like, okay, I'm done with that. I've got my phone, I've got the ringer on, because in case someone, well actually I'm going to turn the ringer off. If someone calls me, I think that it still vibrates. And I don't know if this is going to be a video that gets published. This is a process video. And this video, my consciousness is to get through something myself, but it may be something that others are working with. This may be part of the field that's open today of working with the energetics on this day of change. And so I'm going to do the best I can to stay with my awareness and not attempt to distract myself and attempt to think about anything but what I'm feeling. So I'm going to just describe the feeling. Oh, what a feeling. Oh, what a feeling that is emerging from inside of me to be released. And so Arlen spoke in the video that he and I did. It was Arlen's consciousness and my physical body, that consciousness was coming through. And meanwhile, I was sitting over on a couch, kind of viewing it through the eyes of my body, but on a being level, I was out of the body while Arlen was in it. And this is something that we did for a year, is when he'd come into the body, I would exit the body. And this was an agreement I had with him. But I'd remain conscious. So I'd be, even without a body, I'd be sitting, listening in to the conversation he was having with the hypnotherapist about my issues. Sometimes it took me a little bit of time after the session to integrate it. You know, if you're a person who has already been kind of trained to feel bad about yourself through their parenting, and then somebody's talking about the things that would be really useful for you to change, there's a tendency to just feel bad about yourself. Or there was for me. That may just be my thing, but it's probably some of your thing too. Just feel bad about yourself, feeling bad about yourself. So So Arlen's reminding me, just internal dialogue, Arlen's reminding me to remember that I am a spiritual teacher demonstrating the difficulties that others may be having because they're beings living in a body and there's things they're resolving, just like me. But he just wanted to remind me, don't get lost in this process. Let people see that it's possible to release this energy without getting taken over by it. So that's a good reminder. Okay, so I had a very stimulating, conscious conversation with a brother of the person I'm here to see if I can help him heal his consciousness, his brain. He doesn't need to heal his consciousness. He needs to heal his identity that keeps his consciousness from expressing itself in a real clear, connected way. That was really, I think that was Arlen. So here's the deal for just this video. Maybe others, I don't know. But for just this video, I'm going to possibly be going from a state of a person in kind of deep mourning, deep grief, because I think that's what's coming out right now. And then all of a sudden, there may be this kind of tag team event where I'm in the state, and then Arlen will come in and he'll just say something, just like poof. That sounds really good to me, because I'd rather not sit in this. I do want to clear this. But in the past, it may have been my tendency to suffer extensive periods of time while I cleared something. Just feel bad about myself because I was feeling bad about myself. I had this lovely conversation. It was really clear and conscious. It was two semi-adult men conversing about the care of another semi-adult man, and the three of us forming a triangle of healing for each of us in relationship to each other. So it's on some levels it might be termed pointless to attempt to heal another when they may or may not be in control of themselves. Came out of the dream work. It's just dream work. Came out of the dream world, the dream work world. Just like, you know, like things really got moving yesterday, and they were working out throughout the night, but possibly due to my need to suffer in order to feel good about the changes I made. I woke up, my neck was creaked, and this may also be the person I'm doing the healing work with, my friend here, because this has been the issue, has been his neck all locked up. So I quite possibly worked with it throughout the evening, but I woke up with it with my head kind of off to the side and pain in my neck and pain in my shoulder, and I'm like, okay, you know. I did a period of time of yoga, period of time of breath, period of time of yoga, period of time of qigong. Freed up a lot of stuff. Basically, Master Gu says, stuck energy, moving energy. Best to have moving energy. Let's just put it simple. If your energy is moving, even uncomfortably so, it's better than if your energy movie is, as Master Gu says, stuck. It's stuck. So I have this place right now. I'm recreating it in a way because I really kind of cleared it out on maybe a physical, emotional, spiritual, mental level earlier. But it's obviously something feels like related to the heart, and it's related to suffering, and it's relating on some levels to my being very attuned to suffering. Possibly because of the belief that Arlen introduced me to, seems like a few days ago, of my belief that I need to suffer. So, now Arlen's demonstrating something, so I guess, yeah. So, it's pretty interesting because I've been pretty much conscious of being Steve, whoever Steve is, but I've been conscious of being that Steve. Steve thinks this way, maybe, oh, now Steve's thinking this way. So there's changes. But if you are like me to some degree, you've been traumatized and became defensive based on those traumas. And so you may have done this work over time to come more out of your trauma and then more into a functional human being in relationship to others. So I think that's probably most people's goals. If they feel kind of dysfunctional, they want to see if they can do things to gain function. But sometimes there are events in the past that took place when we were not in our most functional place. I know there were for me, and there might have been for you. So Arlen is suggesting that it's possible. And so all you need to do is accept that this is possible, what he's suggesting. Not that it's going to happen. That's another level. But the starting point is there's somebody sent me a little card, and it said, anything is possible. And I put it up. We had a cork board back then. I put up the cork board, and it was just there every day. Every time I looked at the calendar, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So just to accept that it may be, that anything is possible. If you don't have an experience of the thing that you hear might be possible, then you can say, okay, I may have something to let go related to that. So let's just go with this thing. And it was good that I suggested earlier to be careful or to observe if I get distracted and start just going off, because that's what we can have a tendency to do, is just find directions that we go off on to bypass the accident we're going around. But the accident we're going around just remains there as an accident. And so today, we're going to stop and see if we can help ourselves in that accident we were in. I think this is a pretty good visual. It's probably coming from Arlen. The really good visuals probably always come from Arlen. Okay. Arlen says that's just not true. He says the majority of the time I just leave you on and I'm just entertained by what you come up with. I'm gonna go ahead and step inside, and I'm just gonna give Arlen the microphone, so to speak. The microphone, the mouthpiece. I'm just gonna step inside and be aware of, if this is possible, be aware of myself and my process, and have Arlen come in and help me shift it. Okay, so we do laugh alike because we have a similar sense of humor. Okay, so you're watching this, possibly. If you hear these words, you are watching it. And so you might be aware of some things inside yourself. You might be aware of some areas where you feel discomfort. You might feel pain. You might feel just tightness. You might feel a variety of different things. You might feel stuck energy. All I want you to do is remind yourself that energy is best moving, and your responsibility, if you wish and choose to take responsibility in assisting your body to let its energies move. In many ways, you have to take your vehicle to the side of the road and let others pass as you repair your vehicle. I'm liking that analogy of driving around the accident. So instead of driving around the accident, today you're pulling up at a safe distance from the accident and getting out of your vehicle and very carefully and consciously walking over to see how the others are doing in their vehicles. And as you approach, there may be just some moaning and groaning going inside the other vehicles. And what you are to do is to take your own energy back and ground your own energy into the healing center of the earth. And allow the others in the vehicle to have their energy back from you. It's their energy, and they're getting it back. And now you're clearly present to what's going on. You're not experiencing the process from the other person's experience. and they're not experiencing their process for your over concern for others. And you can let go like that. You can reclaim yourself on all levels, in all spaces and time. Just like you're doing right now. Just like Steve's doing right now. And you might notice as you're watching this video an alteration in your perceptions of the video. So you may begin to see the facial structures changing, the leaf patterns changing. You might actually see this video more like a hallucination or more like a slightly out of focus video. And what you're beginning to do is you're beginning to see the energetics of this. And in the energetics of this is the history memory of all the energetics that are held in the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you look at all the different energetics are being worked with, and things will flash in and out, and sometimes you'll see them as you expect to see them, and sometimes you'll see other things. And this is an exercise you can do with yourself, is just look at yourself in a mirror. Or if you have the ability to record yourself, like on a computer, then just set up to record yourself, and then just look at yourself and you can see yourself coming in and out of focus because you're projecting your image of yourself onto the screen, and you narrow it down to a particular image you want to see, but instead you can let go of control of who you come across as and who you want to see yourself as, and you can just see the energy that makes up you. And also you can begin to feel the energy that makes up you. And right now, Steve is feeling a little cramped in his space because he came out of the head space and went into the heart space. And the heart is a very lovely space to be in, even when you're feeling a lot of discomfort there. So, it's a pleasure to be with you in this way. It's a pleasure for you to begin to see the world as energy, which is what it is. And for you to see what you've been projecting, but what you've been projecting has kept you out of what you can see when you try to control the movie you're projecting, and you just see what arises. So now there's this disconnect, this energy numbness, possibly tingling in the upper part of the back, the lower part of the neck, and a feeling of almost throbbing. So you can feel the underlying waves of energy that are attempting to get through that place that you're experiencing as throbbing. Now I'm going to let you just work on it on your own for right now, so you can see and experience it for yourself, what it feels like when you're holding on, attempting to let go. This is what it feels like. It can be very uncomfortable. And then I'm going to give you an experience of what it feels like to let go. And if you're still looking in that way where you're seeing energy, what you're seeing now is energy flowing. And the heart opening up. And so you might see this area of light around the head. Now your focus is getting a little more clear, but you're projecting less. So you might feel this energy, light energy around here, and this energy from the heart getting through to the head. And then we're just going to, this is all very gentle. We're just going to hold the head up, and we're going to take our awareness right down to that place that's beginning to unlock. You can put your hands on it if you want. You can keep your hands on your head. However you want. You're just putting your attention on this place that's beginning to unlock. And you unlock it. And notice while you were doing all of that release and letting go, you felt better and better and better. So that's the point. When energy flows, you are in the flow of that energy, and that energy is life. So when it's flowing, you're experiencing life. When it's locked up, you're experiencing less life. More locked up, less life. More locked up, less life. More locked up. Hardly any life moving. Death. Life. It's a choice, life or death. Lock up your energy, you're saying, I want death. I want death. The reason that Steve and I have done this together for lifetimes is that we enjoy each other's process. And literally, Steve has been on the other side while I've been in bodies doing what I'm doing with Steve in a body. Because the only way that the world can change is through you changing it. And much of the change can only take place through beings in bodies. That's that's what you need to be in. Now you can have assistants, you can call angels, you can talk to God, you can, do all these things, constructs, you can communicate with these constructs, and even these constructs you're communicating with, they'll be beings that are working with those constructs and helping you because you're asking for it. And Steve wants me to explain, and he understands this construct, but he wants me to explain this construct, and I will. You have a system of beliefs based on thought forms, and these thought forms have been taught to you over and over and over again, so that you have begun to think of the thought form as reality. So that thought form, one of them is God. And Steve was quite uncomfortable when we suggested to him that he disconnect from the thought form or matrix of God surrounding the planet. But basically all it is disconnecting from a thought form and opening yourself up to the experience of what's outside of that thought form. So we suggested to him that he say, I disconnect from the matrix or thought form of God. And then there's this like crackling. It took us a while to convince Stephen, who he was, to do this. But he eventually was convinced that it was okay to have the experience of it because it was just a thought form, but it was a very powerful one. And then it breaks up. And then we can, for us, this is not a thought form. This is an experience. So if you want to talk about the oneness, that's the experience. We're all one. We're all connected. We're all doing this together. That's the experience. If you want to talk about God, we're aware that here is a matrix or a thought form that people refer to as God. Some refer to as Allah. Some refer to as whatever. And that's a thought form that's been carried a long time. If you wish, you don't have to give up perceiving yourself as a being of light or as a spiritual being or as a being in general. You don't have to give up that perception to recognize that you are perceiving yourself everywhere. Everywhere are beings of light. Beings working together. Beings helping to shift this thought form of this earth to one that is in relationship with everything, with the all that is. With the I am that I am is not an ego talking about how spiritually great it is. It's an awareness that everything that is contained within me. If you want to help the ego, you can say, I'm just a fractal. of the whole. That's okay. Because as a fractal of the whole, you are the whole. You little fractals. Steve's feeling much better, but he's kind of hiding. He just wants to stay in his heart. I'm just going to stay here for a while. You stay in the head, you know? And I'm like, well, I'm in the head. I'm in the heart. I'm in the pelvis. I'm in the legs. Because if I'm going to come in, I'm coming in. I'm not taking over, but I'm coming in. I want to be aware of the whole thing because I'm helping Stephen, who's helping himself, who's also helping others, like you. So, you know, if Steve, we're going to let Stephen come out of his, we're going to help Stephen come out of his perception of self. The one he carries around, the one he projects out there, we're going to have him come out of his perception of self. And he's going like, no, 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 no. And I'm going like, I'm going to say, dude. I'm going to say, dude. I'm going to go, dude, this is exactly what you'd be doing to me if our situation was reversed. And he says it's true. So what we're going to do is I'm going to sink down into that comfy couch of the heart, and Stephen is going to just let go of that identity that he appears as and come and speak from himself. Okay? It'll look very similar to me because I'm in his body, so I look like him. I've got a lot of the mannerisms because I've studied them. Okay, so I'm going in, he's coming out. Well, I found that pretty entertaining. I especially, I'm just going to say, I especially liked watching the whole energy thing happen. You know, that was fantastic. It's going to be real interesting to see if I see that when I watch it kind of right away, probably really soon, as I determine what I'm going to do in my life. Will I go to Trader Joe's? Will I go see my friend Rob Colliner, the chiropractor, and get, you know, the whole area feels fine now, but I think I'll still go because I'm in this field of energy that may have a positive impact with Rob, who's working with my friend Kim, and who's working with the majority of my former clients when I practiced healing work in Ann Arbor. When I left, they went to Rob because Rob was my chiropractor. I was his chiropractor. It's a close woven network of people. Oh, so interesting. I just got that Arlen suggested that I speak as myself, but this self who also lives in that world. And that was super fun. And that feels like enough. I mean, I'm going to be spending the day working with this video, working with what information Arlen gave to me, and working with the shift that just took place that, well, I'll be working with that for the rest of my life, as possibly you will be too. We'll be doing it together, and then, you know, say what you will. Teamwork makes the dream work. Now I'm going to kick him out of here because I need a little time to myself. You know how you feel like, yeah, you love that partner you're in a relationship with, but you just want to be in your room by yourself with your cat. That's how I'm feeling now. So we're just going to, you can all just say, goodbye, Arlen. And thank you. That was really good. Okay. Now to carry on. Now I was not feeling like I knew what to do in my day because I felt so out of sorts. And now I just feel like I'm in and free of a lot of pain I was carrying for a short period of time. Okay, now let's go.